Simple human missed his galactic flight to help an elderly alien without knowing that it would change his life. Alex Mercer threaded through the crowded corridors of Cygnus Harbor. Scars crisscrossed his weathered face, relics of battles fought far from this orbiting hub. The space station pulsed with life, circling a distant star. Thousands of travelers from over a dozen alien species filled the air with strange dialects. Merchants waved glowing wares, their shouts mixing with the hum of unseen machines. Holographic ads flickered overhead, promising swift leaps to distant systems. Alex's boots struck the polished floor, steady despite the chaos swirling around him. He clutched his Orion 447 ticket, fingers brushing the worn edges. A glance at his chronometer tightened his chest. 10 minutes, he muttered, quickening his pace. The gate's neon sign blinked in the distance, a beacon through the throng. He sidestepped a knot of tentacled traders, their baskets clinking with odd trinkets. His mind drifted to Ethan, his younger brother, toiling in Orpheum 4's mines for 2 years. A quiet ache pushed him forward, urgency in every step. The station's artificial gravity tugged lightly at his frame. He spotted the gate ahead, a clear shot now. Then he saw the old man. Aurelio Cass wrestled with oversized luggage, his frail form buckling under the weight. The bags looked like anchors in the low-grav air. Alex's instincts flared. He could sprint past, make the flight, but something deeper stirred. He stopped, kneeling beside the struggling elder. "Here, let me," Alex said, grabbing a teetering case. Aurelio's lined face lit up, eyes warm despite the strain. "Kind of you, son," he said, voice thick with an alien accent. "These old bones aren't what they used to be." Alex stacked the bags neatly, offering a steady arm. They talked as they worked, Aurelio's words weaving tales of family duties across the stars. "Got kin waiting out there?" he asked, nodding at Alex's ticket. "My brother," Alex replied, voice low. "Haven't seen him in too long." Aurelio's gaze softened. "Family's worth crossing galaxies for," he said, a knowing edge to his tone. The exchange felt familiar, tying Alex's mission to the old man's quiet wisdom. A bond sparked, small but real. A sharp voice cut through. "Final call, Orion 447. Alex's heart jolted. "Gotta go," he said, clapping Aurelio's shoulder. He sprinted, dodging travelers, but the gate doors hissed shut. The shuttle's hum faded as it pulled away. Alex stood, chest heaving, staring at the empty dock. Frustration burned hot. "Damn it," he growled, fists tight, forcing the anger down. He turned back. Aurelio waited, concern creasing his face. "I'm sorry, lad," he said, stepping closer. "Made you miss your ride." Alex shook his head. "Not your fault." Aurelio hesitated, then added, "I've got a ship, private transport, could get you to Orpheum 4. Alex raised a brow, curiosity tempering his irritation. Aurelio watched him closely, noting the calm in his eyes. This one handles pressure, he thought. It could be useful for what's coming. The crowd thinned, neon lights pulsing like a heartbeat. Lyra Cass appeared, her blue skin catching the glow. Her luminous eyes locked on Alex, steady and warm. "Grandfather, you all right?" she asked, voice smooth as she glided through the chaos. Her elegant attire stood out, a stark contrast to the station's grit. Aurelio smiled. "Thanks to this young man. Helped me out." Lyra turned to Alex. "That was kind of you," she said, a faint smile playing on her lips. "Heard you missed your flight. We're headed to Orpheum 4 on Asteria-One. Care to join us?" Alex paused, checking his comms. No other flights are scheduled soon. Her poise drew him in, a hint of mystery in her gaze. "All right," he said. "I'm in." They moved to the docking bay, the station's din fading. Asteria-One gleamed, its sleek hull dwarfing standard shuttles. Inside, plush seats and panoramic viewports stunned Alex. "This is no cargo hauler," he said, half to himself. Lyra chuckled. "We like to travel in style." The ship lifted off, engines purring as it began the 15-light-year trek. Over a meal, Alex shared war stories with Aurelio. "Ever seen a plasma storm take out a frigate?" he asked, grinning. Aurelio laughed. "Seen worse, son. Try guarding trade routes in a meteor swarm." Lyra joined, her voice bright. "I work with Aid Group," she said. "Miners on Orpheum 4 need help. Bad conditions." Her compassion struck Alex, echoing his hopes for Ethan. A quiet moment settled. He felt a rare calm, wondering if combat's rough edges might soften here. They toured the ship, its gym catching Alex's eye. He tested it, muscles flexing smoothly. Aurelio watched, unsmiling. "Strong one, aren't you?" he said. Fate's weaving this tight, he thought. Responsibilities looming. The ship hit hyperspace, stars blurring. Bonds formed, fragile but growing, as the journey stretched on. The Asteria-One's corridors gleamed under soft lights. Alex Mercer followed Lyra Cass, her blue skin catching the glow. Her steps were sure, graceful, like she belonged among the stars. Aurelio trailed behind, his weathered face calm. The ship's hum vibrated faintly, a steady pulse as it carved through the void. Alex's missed flight still stung, but Lyra's offer felt like a lifeline. The station's chaos faded in his mind, replaced by the ship's quiet elegance. Lyra glanced back, her luminous eyes warm. "You look out of place here," she said, a teasing edge in her voice. Alex chuckled, rubbing his neck. "Yeah, not used to this kind of ride. More of a troop transport guy." She smiled, leading him to the main cabin. Plush seats lined the walls and viewports framed the endless stars. Alex paused, awestruck. "This is something else," he muttered, taking it in. Aurelio settled into a chair, gesturing for Alex to join. "Sit, son. Tell me about those wars you fought." His accent rolled, inviting. Alex sank into the cushions, surprised by its comfort. "Long stories," he said. "Mostly dirt, blood, and bad calls." Aurelio nodded, eyes sharp. "Sounds like you kept your head, though. That's rare." Alex shrugged, but the elder's words landed deep. Lyra reappeared, balancing a tray of drinks. "Try this," she said, handing Alex a glass of amber liquid. "It's from my homeworld. Won't kill you, promise." Alex sniffed it, wary. "Smells like engine fuel." She laughed, bright and easy. He took a sip, warmth spreading through him. The ship's engines purred, accelerating toward Orpheum 4, 15 light-years away. The journey felt smoother than any he'd known. Over a meal, the trio traded tales. Aurelio spoke of old trade routes, dodging pirate fleets. "Ever outrun an ion cannon?" he asked, grinning. Alex leaned forward. "Once. Barely. The ship caught fire." Lyra listened, her gaze flicking between them. She spoke up, voice softer now. "I work with relief groups. Mining colonies like Orpheum 4, they're struggling. Workers get crushed under corporate boots." Her passion stirred Alex, mirroring his worry for Ethan. A quiet moment settled. Alex stared at the viewport, stars streaking past. He felt a strange calm, like the galaxy had nudged him here. "You ever think you're meant for something else?" he asked, almost to himself. Lyra tilted her head. "All the time. You?" He nodded, words stuck. Years of combat had carved him rough, but this ship, these people, hinted at more. "Let's show you around," Lyra said, standing. They roamed the decks, passing sleek consoles and humming tech. The gym caught Alex's eye, compact but sharp. He tested a weight rig, lifting with ease. "Not bad," he said, sweat beading. Lyra smirked. "Thought soldiers just punch things?" He shot back. "Only when the tech fails." Her laugh echoed, lightening the air. Aurelio watched from a corner, his smile knowing. "Strong and quick," he said, half to himself. "Good combo." His thoughts turned to larger plans, unseen threads tying this moment to greater stakes. Fate had a way of choosing its players, he mused. Alex caught the look, raising a brow. "What's that grin for, old man?" Aurelio waved it off. "Just thinking you fit right in." The ship's lounge became their haven. Lyra leaned against a rail, stars framing her silhouette. "My world's peaceful," she said. Green hills, quiet skies. Not like this dust bowl we're headed to. Alex nodded, picturing Earth's scarred plains. Mine's tough, but it's home. Fought for every inch. Their words wove a thread, connecting distant lives. Aurelio joined, his voice rich with memory. I've guarded family business a long time, he said. Seen corporations play dirty. Always someone wanting more. His tone hinted at secrets, but he held back. Alex caught the edge, filing it away. Sounds like trouble follows you, he said. Aurelio chuckled. Or I follow it. Dinner unfolded in the dining hall, tables laden with dishes from far systems. Alex tried a spiky fruit, wincing. This is supposed to taste like metal? Lyra grinned. It grows on you. The mood shifted fast. Waiters moved wrong, their steps too precise. Alex's instincts flared. Trouble, he whispered, hand on a fork. He lunged, pinning one waiter's arm. The man yelped, dropping a data slate. Spies! Alex hissed, twisting harder. Lyra tapped her wrist, alarms blaring. Security now, she called. They subdued the group, swift and clean. A captured spy glared, fear in his eyes. He'd misjudged the human. Tales of Earth's warriors ringing true too late. Aurelio clapped Alex's shoulder. Good eyes, lad. Trust tightened between them. The crew hauled the spies away, bound for the next port. Lyra met Alex's gaze, gratitude clear. You're handy in a fight, she said. He smirked. Comes with the scars. The ship sailed on, hyperspace blurring the stars, their bond growing stronger as Orpheum 4 loomed closer. The Asteria-One glided through hyperspace, stars streaking past like comet tails. Alex Mercer leaned against the observation lounge's railing, the vastness outside mirrored in his thoughts. Lyra Cass stood nearby, her blue skin catching the soft glow of the ship's lights. The quiet hum of the engines wrapped them in a cocoon of calm. Their conversations had grown easy, weaving stories of their worlds. Alex felt the weight of his past battles lighten, if only a fraction, in her presence. Your Earth sounds stubborn, Lyra said, her voice warm, teasing. All that fighting to keep it standing. Alex chuckled, rubbing a scar on his jaw. Yeah, it's a tough old rock. Keeps going despite everything. He glanced at her. Your planet sounds like a dream. Green hills, no wars. Lyra's eyes softened. Mostly. We've got our problems, but peace holds. Her words painted a vivid contrast, pulling Alex into her world's quiet beauty. Aurelio joined them, his steps slow but sure. You two swapping homes already? He asked, a grin crinkling his face. Alex shrugged. Just figuring out how she stands all this luxury. Aurelio laughed, settling into a nearby seat. Takes practice, son. I've guarded family business across stars for decades. Seen plenty of worlds, peaceful and not. His tone carried a hint of shadow, corporate games left unsaid. Alex caught it, filing the mystery away. The lounge's viewport framed the cosmos, a silent invitation to share. Lyra leaned closer. Orpheum 4's miners, they're trapped in a different fight. Corporations grind them down. Her voice tightened, compassion raw. Alex nodded, thinking of Ethan. Sounds like my brother's world. He's tough, but 2 years in that dust sounds brutal. Their shared worry built a bridge, fragile but real. Dinner called them to the ship's grand hall. Tables groaned under dishes from distant systems, their aromas strange yet inviting. Alex poked at a spiky purple fruit. This safe? He asked, squinting. Lyra smirked. Safer than your battlefield rations. He took a bite, wincing at the tang. Barely, he shot back, earning her laugh. Aurelio raised a glass. To new friends and sharp tongues. The clink of their drinks sealed the moment. The mood shifted fast. Waiters moved through the hall, their steps too measured. Alex's soldier senses prickled. He caught Lyra's eye, nodding slightly. Something's off, he whispered. Before she could reply, a waiter lunged, a data slate glinting in his hand. Alex moved on instinct, grabbing the man's wrist and twisting. The slate clattered to the floor. "Spies!" he growled, pinning the arm back. Lyra's fingers flew to her wristcom. "Security, dining hall, now!" she called, voice steady. Another waiter rushed forward, but Alex was faster, flipping a tray into the man's chest. The crash echoed as Lyra activated lockdown protocols. Together, they cornered the intruders, 3 in all, their faces pale with shock. The crew swarmed in, binding the spies with mag cuffs. One captured spy trembled, his thoughts racing. He'd heard of Earth warriors, their strength a galactic legend. This human moved like a predator, precise and relentless. He cursed his own arrogance, underestimating the scarred man. The realization hit hard. He'd misread the tales, and now he paid the price. Aurelio clapped Alex's shoulder, eyes bright. "Quick work, lad. You've got a knack for trouble." Alex grinned, brushing off his hands. "Trouble finds me." Lyra's gaze lingered, gratitude mixed with something deeper. "You're more than just muscle," she said softly. He met her eyes, a spark passing between them. "Hope so," he replied, voice low. The crew hauled the spies away, bound for a waypoint handover. The dining hall settled, chatter resuming. Alex and Lyra walked the decks, the ship's hum a steady backdrop. "Those miners," Lyra said, voice tight. "I'm scared for them. Helios runs Orpheum-4 like a prison." Alex's jaw clenched. "Ethan's in that mess. I'll find him, figure this out." Her hand brushed his, a fleeting comfort. He paused, staring at the stars. "Lost good people in the wars," he said, voice rough. "Friends who didn't make it." Lyra nodded, her silence understanding. "I've seen loss too," she said. "Not battles, but families torn by greed." Her honesty cracked something open in Alex, his rough edges softening under her gaze. Aurelio watched from a distance, his thoughts turning inward. These two, he mused, carried more than they knew. Fate had pulled them together and greater tests loomed. The ship neared Orpheum-4, its dusty silhouette growing in the viewport. Challenges waited below, but for now their bond strengthened, a quiet force against the coming storm. The Asteria-One sliced through Orpheum-4's hazy atmosphere, dust clouds swirling beyond the viewports. Alex Mercer gripped the armrest, eyes fixed on the barren landscape below. Mining rigs dotted the horizon, their stark metal frames clawing at the sky. The ship settled onto a private landing pad, engines humming to a stop. Lyra Cass stood beside him, her blue skin catching the dim light. "Welcome to the Dust Bowl," she said, her voice dry but warm. Alex nodded, jaw tight. Ethan was down there, somewhere in this desolate sprawl. They disembarked, the air thick with grit. Lyra turned to Alex, her luminous eyes steady. "I need a bodyguard for the Helios talks," she said. "You proved yourself on the ship. Up for it?" Alex cracked a grin. "Keep trouble off you? I can manage that." Aurelio chuckled nearby, leaning on his cane. "Good choice, girl. He's got the grit for it." The offer felt right, a way to stay sharp while searching for his brother. As they stepped onto the pad, Alex's comm buzzed. A message flickered, coded and brief. Ethan's voice crackled through. "Alex, watch your back. Voren Pike knows you're here." The warning landed like a punch. Alex's eyes narrowed. "Pike's the big shot at Helios, right?" he asked Lyra. She nodded, frowning. "Director, not a fan of surprises." Alex filed the name away, senses sharp. They moved toward the colony, dust stinging their faces. Alex's boots crunched on the rocky ground. Ethan waited in a dim barracks, its walls stained with grime. His brother looked older, worn. 2 years, man," Alex said, pulling him into a rough hug. Ethan's smile was thin. 16-hour shifts'll do that," he said. "Helios runs us into the ground." His voice carried a quiet anger, stoking Alex's resolve. Ethan gestured to a woman nearby. "Mira Sol, engineer. She's seen things." Mira's eyes were kind but tired, her hands smudged with machine oil. "Health reports don't add up," she said, passing Alex a data slate. Workers dropping, no clear cause. Alex scrolled through, numbers glaring. Something was wrong, hidden in the stats. Mira watched him, hope flickering. This outsider, she thought, might break Helios's grip. His focus gave her a spark she hadn't felt in months. Lyra and Aurelio headed to a sleek corporate tower for the Helios meeting. Alex caught their departure, noting the tension in Lyra's shoulders. "Pike's slippery," she warned before leaving. "Keep your eyes open out here." Alex nodded. "Always do." The contrast hit him hard, towers gleaming for execs, while workers' camps sprawled in squalor. Over 20,000 souls lived in those shacks, their roofs patched with scrap. Alex roamed the colony's edge, blending into the shadows. Miners shuffled past, their faces dulled by exhaustion. He overheard whispers, hushed and urgent. "Mind locks," one said, voice low. "They control you, make you forget." The words sent a chill down Alex's spine. His soldier's instincts kicked in, piecing together fragments. Something dark ran beneath the surface here. He met Ethan again near a rusted rig. "What's this mind lock talk?" Alex asked, voice low. Ethan's eyes darted. "Rumors. Workers act strangely, like they're not themselves." Mira joined, her voice hushed. "I've seen the labs, procedures they don't explain." Alex's gut tightened. "Labs, huh? Point me that way." Mira hesitated, then nodded. "Tomorrow. I'll get you in." Back at the landing pad, Lyra and Aurelio returned, their faces grim. "Pike's hiding something," Lyra said, her voice sharp. "Contracts full of holes." Aurelio leaned closer, his tone cryptic. "Big games at play, Alex. Trusts across the stars. Stay sharp." Alex frowned, catching the weight behind the words. "Always am," he said, but questions churned in his mind. The colony's dust settled as night fell, lights flickering in the camps. Alex stood alone, staring at the horizon. "Ethan's in deep," he muttered, the warning replaying. Pike's awareness of him felt like a trap waiting to spring. Lyra's cause, Ethan's struggle, Mira's evidence, they wove together, pulling him in. His visit wasn't just a reunion anymore. Truth called, sharp and insistent, and Alex was ready to answer. The night air on Orpheum 4 hung heavy with dust. Alex Mercer crouched in the shadows of a rusted mining rig, Mira Soul at his side. Her eyes darted, scanning for patrols. "This way," she whispered, pointing to a low building nestled between ore processors. The Helios lab loomed ahead, its steel walls glinting under floodlights. Alex's pulse quickened. Ethan's warning about Pike echoed, urging caution. Whatever lay inside, it was tied to the miner's dulled eyes and whispered fears. Mira led him through a maintenance hatch, her fingers deft on the lock. "Seen workers go in normal, come out wrong," she said, voice tight. Voice. Alex nodded, his soldier's instincts sharp. "Let's find out why." They slipped inside, the air cold and sterile. Dim lights revealed rows of medical bays. Workers lay strapped to tables, their faces blank as techs inserted small, glinting chips into their skulls. Alex's stomach churned. "Brain control," he muttered. "They're turning people into tools." Mira handed him a stolen data slate. "Chips override free will," she said. "Some even self-destruct to cover tracks." Alex scrolled through schematics, his jaw tight. The tech was insidious, designed for control. "How many?" he asked. Mira's voice dropped. "Thousands, maybe more." The scale hit him hard, Ethan's face flashing in his mind. He pocketed the slate, evidence now in hand. Across the colony, Lyra sat in a tense meeting with Voren Pike. The Helios director's smile was too smooth, his eyes cold. "Our contracts ensure prosperity," he said, sliding a tablet across the table. Lyra's fingers traced the fine print, catching hidden clauses. "Prosperity for who?" she shot back, her tone sharp. Pike's smile didn't waver, but she felt his deceit, a predator circling. Her intelligence cut through his lies, fueling her resolve to dig deeper. Back in the barracks, Ethan gathered a small group of miners. Their faces were haggard, eyes haunted. "Lost friends to those chips," he said, voice low. "They work till they drop, no questions." A woman nodded, her hands trembling. "My brother forgot his own name." Ethan looked to the group, fire in his eyes. "We fight back, for them." His words stoked Alex's mission, a shared rage against Helios's grip. Alex moved deeper into the lab, Mira guiding him past humming consoles. A patrol passed close, boots echoing. He pressed against a wall, breath held. His training kicked in, mapping the grid in his mind. "Cameras there," he whispered, pointing. Mira nodded, disabling a sensor with a quick hack. "You're good at this," she said, a faint smile breaking through. Alex grunted. "Had to be. Wars don't wait." They slipped past, unseen. Aurelio's voice found Alex later, cryptic over comms. "Big trust at play, lad," he said, his tone heavy. "More than just miners caught in this." Alex frowned, static crackling. "What's that mean, old man?" Aurelio chuckled. "You'll see. Stay alive." The vagueness frustrated Alex, but it sharpened his focus. Something bigger loomed, tying him to Lyra in this fight. Deep in the mining pits, a worker toiled under flickering lights. His name was Joran, his thoughts dulled by the chip in his skull. Each swing of his pick felt mechanical, endless. He dreamed of his daughter, her face fading in his mind. Liberation seemed a cruel fantasy, crushed by the weight of Helios's control. His despair hung thick, a silent plea for someone to break the chains. Alex and Lyra met in a shadowed alley, dust swirling around them. "Found something bad," he said, showing her the slate. Her eyes widened, scanning the data. "This is monstrous," she whispered, fear lacing her voice. "They're stealing lives." Alex's hand brushed hers, steadying. "We stop this. Together." Her nod was firm, their shared resolve a spark in the dark. Pike's orders crackled through the colony's comms. "Titan surveillance," he snapped to his guards. "Mercer's poking around." Alex felt the noose tightening. His every move was watched. He slipped the slate into his jacket, evidence burning a hole in his thoughts. "We're running out of time," he told Mira, voice low. She nodded, her face set. "Then we move fast." The colony's lights dimmed, night deepening the dust. Alex stood alone, the lab's horrors replaying in his mind. Ethan's resistance, Lyra's fire, Mira's hope, they wove into a purpose sharper than any blade. He wasn't just here for his brother anymore. The truth demanded action, and the shadows hid his next step. The Helios lab's cold air stung Alex Mercer's skin as he crept through its shadowed halls. His stolen data slate burned in his pocket, proof of the brain chip's horror. Mira's directions had been precise, but a misstep triggered an alarm. Red lights flashed, and boots pounded closer. Alex ducked behind a console, heart racing. Guards swarmed, their stunned batons crackling. "Got you, Mercer," one growled, yanking him up. His arms were pinned, dragged to a sterile room. A chair waited, straps gleaming under harsh light. They bound him tight, the chair's metal biting his wrists. A tech loomed, holding a chip injector. "This'll keep you in line," the man said, voice flat. Alex's jaw clenched, his soldier's instincts screaming. He tested the straps, finding no give. The door hissed open, and Lyra stumbled in, hands cuffed. Aurelio followed, his face grim, guards at his back. "Alex!" Lyra cried, her luminous eyes wide with fear. "You okay?" He nodded, voice low. "Been worse." Nutvorn Pike strode in, his suit pristine against the lab's stark walls. His smile was sharp, predatory. "You've been busy, Mercer," he said, pacing slowly. 15,000 workers, perfectly obedient. My chips make that possible." He leaned close, voice dripping venom. "You're a problem I'll fix." Alex glared back. "You're stealing lives, Pike. That's your game?" Pike laughed, cold. "It's profit. You wouldn't understand." Aurelio's voice cut through. steady despite his binds. Enough, Pike. You've underestimated them. He turned to Alex and Lyra, eyes fierce. Lyra's the true owner of Asteria Airlines. I'm just her guardian. And you, Alex, you're co-heir. Your mother's trust, buried in interstellar law. Alex blinked, stunned. What? Lyra's gaze met his, a mix of shock and resolve. It's true, she whispered. We're tied to this. Pike scoffed, gesturing to a console glowing nearby. The empathy lock, he said, mocking, needs both your authorizations to shut down my network. Pity you'll be chipped first. Alex's mind raced, piecing it together. The console's dual interface blinked, waiting. Lyra's voice trembled. We can stop this, Alex. Together. He nodded, eyes locked on hers. Let's break his toy. The tech advanced, injector gleaming. Alex twisted hard, snapping a strap loose. He surged up, slamming the tech into a wall. Sparks flew from shattered equipment. Guards rushed in, batons raised. Alex ducked a swing, landing a fist in one's gut. Stay down, he barked, kicking another back. Lyra struggled against her cuffs, shouting, Consoles live! I can hack it! She broke free, diving for a terminal. Her fingers flew, sending a distress signal into the void. Pike watched, his arrogance unshaken. In his mind, the human and alien were no match for his tech. Their bond, their will, it was nothing against his control. He smirked, underestimating the fire in their eyes. The lab shook as alarms blared, Lyra's signal breaching Helios's firewall. You're done, Pike, she yelled, her voice fierce. Outside, Ethan led a growing uprising. Miners, fueled by rage, clashed with guards in the tunnels. For our brothers, Ethan shouted, swinging a wrench. Mira flanked him, rerouting power to jam security doors. Their defiance echoed, a tide turning against Helios's grip. Dust and shouts filled the air, the colony waking from its chained slumber. Alex fought off another guard, his knuckles bruised but steady. He reached Lyra, guarding her as she worked. Almost there, she gasped, code streaming across the screen. The empathy lock's interface pulsed, demanding their sync. Alex grabbed her hand, their eyes meeting. We do this, he said, voice firm. For Ethan, for them all. Lyra nodded, her fear swallowed by purpose. Pike lunged for a control panel, desperate to trigger the chips' self-destruct. Alex tackled him, pinning him to the floor. Not today, he growled, fist raised. Pike's eyes widened, his smug mask cracking. The console hummed louder, its lights shifting green. Lyra's voice rose. It's ready, Alex. We need to connect. The room spun with chaos, guards closing in, but their focus held, a single thread against the storm. The uprising outside grew louder, Ethan's voice carrying over the din. The lab's walls seemed to close in, the weight of 15,000 lives pressing down. Alex and Lyra stood at the console, hands linked, ready to merge their wills. The empathy lock waited, its power to free or doom hanging in the balance. As the fight for Orpheum-4 reached its peak, the Helios lab pulsed with tension, its sterile air thick with the hum of the empathy lock console. Alex Mercer stood shoulder to shoulder with Lyra Cass, their hands linked over the glowing interface. Guards lay scattered, subdued in the brawl's aftermath. Sparks hissed from shattered equipment, casting jagged shadows. Lyra's luminous eyes flickered with doubt, her hidden role as Asteria's owner weighing heavily. I'm not sure I'm ready, she whispered, voice trembling. Alex squeezed her hand, his gaze steady. You are. We've got this. The console's dual interface blinked, demanding their synced wills. Alex felt the stakes. 15,000 miners, their minds chained by chips, hung in the balance. Focus on them, he said, voice low but firm. Ethan, the others, we're their shot. Lyra nodded, her fear hardening into resolve. They pressed their palms to the console, a faint hum vibrating through their bones. The empathy lock activated, probing their intent, seeking compassion and responsibility. Alex's mind flashed to lost comrades, fueling his drive. Lyra's thoughts churned, her secret identity a storm. But Alex's presence anchored her. A pulse surged from the console, rippling through the lab's network. Lights flickered as the chip system shuddered. Miners across Orpheum 4 blinked, their eyes clearing. The self-destruct sequences halted, silenced by the lock's override. Shouts of relief echoed outside, the uprising gaining ground. "It's working!" Lyra gasped, her voice bright with hope. Alex grinned, adrenaline surging. "Told you we'd break it." Chaos erupted in the lab. Freed miners stormed in, their faces alive with defiance. Guards scrambled, overwhelmed by the tide. Ethan led the charge, his wrench swinging. "For our kin!" he roared, toppling a guard. Mirasol darted through the fray, rerouting power to lock out reinforcements. Her voice cut through the din. "Keep them back! We've got wounded!" The air thrummed with freedom, the colony's pulse quickening. Voren Pike scrambled to his feet, eyes wild. He lunged for an escape hatch, fingers clawing at the controls. Ethan intercepted, his face a mask of fury. "Not this time, Pike," he growled, slamming the director against the wall. The takedown was swift, personal, a brother's vengeance for years of oppression. Pike slumped, defeated, his empire crumbling. Ethan tied his wrists, spitting. "You're done." Galactic Council ships descended, their sleek hulls piercing the dusty sky. Lyra's distress signal had reached them, summoning enforcers in droves. Armored agents stormed the lab, securing Pike with mag cuffs. "Voren Pike, you're under arrest," one barked, seizing data drives. Evidence of Helios's crimes piled high, undeniable. The lab's sterile glow dimmed, its secrets laid bare. Mira coordinated the chaos, her engineering skills turning defensive systems against straggling guards. "Redirecting turrets," she called, her hands flying over a console. Wounded miners were carried to safety, their faces lit with gratitude. The colony breathed free, its chains shattered. Alex and Lyra stepped back from the console, their hands still clasped. She turned to him, her voice soft. "We did it, Alex." He pulled her into a brief, fierce embrace. "Yeah, we did." Aurelio approached, his cane tapping the floor. "That lock," he said, voice rich with meaning, "was built for leaders with heart, not tyrants like Pike." Alex raised a brow. "You knew this was coming, didn't you?" Aurelio's smile was sly. "I know a lot, lad." Lyra laughed, her tension easing. "He's always like this," she said, nudging her grandfather. The old man's eyes twinkled, secrets still tucked away. The lab quieted, dust settling on the wreckage. Alex and Lyra stepped outside, the colony's horizon glowing with dawn. Miners gathered, their voices rising in hope. Ethan joined them, his shoulders squared. "They're free because of you," he told Alex, his voice thick. Alex clapped his brother's arm. "Couldn't leave you in this mess." The brothers shared a look, years of distance fading. From the crowd, a miner watched, his eyes clear for the first time in months. Joran, once dulled by a chip, felt his daughter's name return, sharp and vivid. He whispered it, a prayer of thanks for the strangers who broke his chains. The planet stretched before them, its dust no longer a shroud, but a canvas for change. Alex and Lyra stood together, their triumph a quiet fire, as Orpheum 4 began to heal under the rising light. The dawn light broke over Orpheum 4, casting a golden haze across the dusty plains. Alex Mercer stood on the colony's edge, the air no longer heavy with oppression. Lyra Cass stood beside him, her blue skin glowing faintly under the rising sun. The Helios lab lay quiet behind them, its secrets exposed. Galactic Council ships dotted the sky, their sleek forms hauling away evidence, in Voren Pike in cuffs. News feeds buzzed galaxy-wide, branding Helios's crimes for all to see. The colony felt alive, its pulse steady and free. Ethan stepped forward, his face weathered but proud. "Union's forming," he said, voice firm. "I'm leading it. No more 16-hour grinds." Alex grinned, clapping his brother's shoulder. "About time you took charge, little man." Ethan smirked. Had a good teacher. His eyes flicked to the miners rallying nearby, their voices rising in plans for fair wages and safer rigs. Orpheum 4 was theirs again, and Ethan would fight for its future. Lyra turned to Alex, her luminous eyes bright. I'm stepping up, she said. Asteria Airlines is mine, publicly now. No more hiding. Her voice carried a quiet strength, her role as owner no longer a secret. Alex nodded, still processing his own place. And me, co-heir? He asked, half laughing. Never saw that coming. Lyra's smile warmed. You're in, Mercer, head of security and rescue. Up for it? He met her gaze, steady. Try keeping me out. Mirasol joined them, her hands still smudged with machine oil. I'm staying, she said, her voice resolute. Tech support for the rebuild. These folks need it. Alex nodded, impressed. You're a force, Mira. She grinned, wiping her brow. Learned from watching you lot. Her skills would anchor the colony's recovery, turning old systems into tools for hope. They walked toward the Asteria-One, its hull gleaming on the landing pad. Alex paused, glancing at Aurelio. That luggage back at Cygnus, he said, squinting. Really heavy, or just a setup? Aurelio's eyes twinkled, his smile sly. Heavy responsibility, lad. You carried it well. Alex chuckled, shaking his head. You're a crafty one, old man. Lyra laughed, nudging Alex. He's always 10 steps ahead. A freed miner, Joran, stood among the crowd, watching the ship prepare to lift. His daughter's name burned clear in his mind, no longer dulled by a chip. He whispered thanks, his gaze on the strangers who'd sparked this change. One act of kindness, helping an old man, had rippled out, freeing thousands. His heart swelled, a quiet hope for the future taking root. Aboard the Asteria-One, Alex and Lyra stood on the bridge, hands brushing as they faced the stars. This is just the start, isn't it? Alex asked, his voice low. Lyra's fingers laced with his, her touch warm. Yeah, she said, smiling. We've got work to do. Their bond, forged in dust and defiance, felt unbreakable now, a partnership for the battles ahead. Aurelio settled into a chair, his cane resting beside him. I'm stepping back, he said, his tone content. Advisory role suits me fine. Alex raised a brow. Retiring on us? Aurelio chuckled. Hardly, just passing the torch. His eyes held pride, the legacy of Asteria secure in Lyra and Alex's hands. The colony below buzzed with new life. Ships from nearby systems landed, bringing aid and supplies. Miners worked alongside volunteers, rebuilding camps into homes. Solidarity stretched across the stars, a network of support sparked by Orpheum 4's liberation. The dust settled, revealing a planet ready to rise. The Asteria-One's engines hummed, lifting off into the hazy sky. Alex stood at the viewport, Lyra at his side. Thought I was just here for Ethan, he said, voice soft. Now look at us. Lyra leaned closer, her smile bright. Kindness changes everything, Alex. He nodded, her words echoing Aurelio's wisdom. The stars stretched endlessly before them, a canvas for new fights, new hopes. The ships surged forward, carrying them into a future where empathy and courage would light the way.